Much needed rain is on its way here to Central Virginia. You're watching 8 News at 5:30. I'm Heather Hope.
I'm Eric Phillips. We're now tossing it over to Storm Track forecaster Tyler Hall. Heather?
We're looking forward to it. All right, JB. Well, saving money, saving food, and potentially saving the environment. One app is cracking down on food waste, saving buyers a buck and boosting business for local restaurants. Thieves are walking out with your tax dollars, and it's costing us a lot here in the Commonwealth. Troubling details, Sierra, thanks. Well, a man is fighting for his life after police say the man drove off the road and crashed into a Richmond home.
School threats. Heather.
A lot to catch everyone up on, Deanna. Let's start first with the most recent threat out of Hopewell. Police are now working with Hopewell High School administrators to investigate a threat they believe is not credible. School officials saying that threat was made on Instagram overnight and was likely made to create fear for students and staff, as a man has been charged with murder for allegedly shooting and killing a man in Richmond last month. Tonight, we're hearing from USPS leaders after mail issues have been felt all across the country, including right here in Central Virginia. Thank you for joining us for 8 News at 4. I'm Heather Hope. A woman is facing manslaughter charges after state police say she hit and killed a pedestrian in Essex County. Officers say Michelle King lost control of her car and Madison, thanks. New details in the Baltimore bridge collapse. The ship that crashed into the bridge is expected to be removed in the coming weeks. It's still unclear when the rest of the wreckage will be cleaned up, but the city hopes to fully restore the port by the end of the month. 6 people died in the accident, 2 bodies still missing. So far, 183 containers have been lifted from Dolly. An apartment complex fire leaves 1 person dead, 3 people hurt, and several families displaced in Petersburg. You're watching 8 News at noon. I'm Heather Hope. Our crews have been at the scene for hours now, gathering the latest from fire officials and neighbors. 8 News reporter Madison Moore is there live, and it's still an active scene out there behind you, Madison. Texas, thanks for that update on the deadly fire. Switching gears now to our Capitol connection. The second look bill was recently passed in the Virginia Senate and is now making its way through the House of Delegates. I'm Heather Hope. A family demanding answers after they say their son was detained for selling candy in the hallway. 8 News reporter Autumn Childress live tonight after speaking with this family. Autumn, what's the latest? That one neighbor said we are not going outside. That was Amy Avery reporting. Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources says it is aware of these bear spotting. So to stay bear aware, officials recommend keeping trash cans in garages and eliminating outdoor food sources. And it's not just bears you need to worry about. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 8 News at 6. I'm Heather Hope. Police investigating 2 tragedies across Central Virginia that left 2 men dead. One was shot and left in the middle of the road, and the other was a new student at Virginia State. 8 News reporter Victoria Lucas has been following both cases and joins us live in our digital center with more on this. Victoria. Welcome back. Picture this. You're out on a boat, run out of gas, and have no paddle on board. Are you scared yet? What do? Just that happened to these teen boaters. Good advice. Well, a possible new neighbor causing chaos in Arlington. Some thought a pet was on the loose. It turned out to be a bear. Dave Laval has the details on this site. Moving to sports now, where the Richmond Flying Squirrels got a close win over the Akron Rubber Ducks last night. Well, it's no secret today is hot, and those temperatures are soaring over Central Virginia. Welcome back to 8 News at 4. I'm Heather Hope.
I'm Eric Phillips. Our producer snapped this photo of her dash during her lunch break today.
Thanks. Well, brace yourself, Richmond. According to a recent study, we made the list, not a great list, of worst bedbug cities in the U.S.
No.
But there is some good news. We are only ranked 17th, so there's that. Now that's according to Orkin. Bedbugs are small, flat, oval-shaped body bugs with no wings, so always remember to inspect your house when you move in or after a trip or after guests stay over. Some of their favorite hiding spots are mattress tags, baseboards, headboards, electrical outlets, and picture frames. Ooh, they know about the frame.
We need to get off this list, Heather, immediately.
And you're positively Richmond. The Poe Museum is calling it a party to die for, with their annual bash to celebrate Edgar Allan Poe, the master of the macabre, turning 215. It's his birthday this weekend. Good evening and thanks for joining us for 8 News at 6. I'm Heather Hope. Governor Glenn Youngkin steps in to grant an absolute pardon to the father of a high school sexual assault victim. This case in Loudoun County stems back to 2021 and caught national attention. 8 News reporter Victoria Lucas has been digging into this case, and she joins us live in our digital center now with more on the governor's decision. Victoria.
In the digital center, Victoria Lucas, 8 News.
Victoria, thanks a lot to get into. Well, 2 lanes of I-95 North were closed in Colonial Heights earlier today due to a multi-vehicle crash. VDOT says this collision happened just north of Temple Avenue. Northbound lanes on I-95 were closed earlier today, and drivers were asked to take an alternate route, but they have since been opened. Well, tonight, taking action. Animal experts saying they're seeing a growing trend of pets being malnourished and abandoned. 8 News reporter Nicole Danzler found out what's being done to change that.
Can use all the help they can get.
And that was Nicole Danzler reporting. You can find more information about this. Head to our website, WRIC.com.
8 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news into our newsroom tonight. A man is dead after a house fire in Chesterfield. You're watching 8 News at 11. I'm Heather Hope. Fire crews responded to Featherstone Court just before 5 p.m. today. Tell us more about that is Storm Tracker 8 forecaster Tyler Hall. And Tyler, what all should we expect?
Yeah, it's going to be a second straight Sunday where we're going to be tracking a lot of rain.
Thanks. Henrico police are investigating after a report of a shooting into a townhome on Millstream Lane late last night. A department spokesperson says officers responded at 10:15 p.m. and found a man, woman, and girl inside. There is still no information about a suspect, but police do not believe there's any threat to the public. And now to the latest, as 4 correctional centers in Virginia are closing at the end of the year. This includes the Augusta Correctional Facility, Sussex II State Prison, Haynesville Correctional Unit Number 17, and the Stafford Community Corrections Alternative Program. Good evening and thanks for joining us for 8 News at 6. I'm Heather Hope. Growing frustration for more Central Virginians upset they have not received their mail for more than a week. This comes after months of issues plaguing mail delivery in our region. 8 News reporter Victoria Lucas spoke with some of these residents and joins us now in our digital center with more on how a town hall meeting directly addressing this issue is now called off. Victoria.
8 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news coming out of Hanover this afternoon, where police are investigating a deadly crash involving a pedestrian and a train. Thank you for joining us for 8 News at noon. I'm Heather Hope. This crash happened in the 9400 block of Atlee Station Road near Atlee High School. You're taking a look now at the scene captured by our 8 News crews. The Hanover Sheriff's Office tells 8 News that calls for a pedestrian hit and killed by a freight train came in just before 8 this morning. Details are limited, but we do know an investigation is underway and the identity of the victim has not yet been released. Welcome back. The latest as the temperatures drop. Richmond Animal Care and Control is sharing one important message: bring your pets inside. Now, if you're unable to bring them inside, RACC is offering free straw to any Richmond resident. All you have to do is swing by the shelter between 8 and 5 p.m. or give them a call so the straw can be delivered to you. And the city of Richmond is preparing to extend a helping hand to help folks out of the cold. The newly approved homeless shelter on Chamberlain Avenue opens Friday. The inclement weather shelter will have 150 beds available for families and is owned by the Salvation Army. This shelter will open until mid-April of next year.
A Richmond restaurant on edge tonight after 3 men, including one carrying a gun, barged into the business to attack an employee. Then several other employees and even some customers jumped into action to protect the victim.
The whole fight caught on camera, as you can see right behind us. 8 News anchor Heather Hope spoke to the restaurant owner. She breaks down the surveillance video for us and the owner's lingering concerns.
Good evening, Eric, Indiana. John Taxon, the owner of Bookbinder's Restaurant in Shockoe Bottom, says a fight broke out when 3 men came in to attack one of his servers. He believes it was all over a girl and social media, and the 3 men showed up to his restaurant in retaliation.
And then 2 ladies are jumping in there.
Jumping into action to save a co-worker from a fight. John Taxon, bookbinder, seafood, and steakhouse owner, shows his restaurant surveillance video from Monday night. He shows the tense moments that three men barge into the business and then head straight to the bar area where they see the employee they plan to fight as he's serving food.
They couldn't have picked a dumber place to do this. That night, maybe there was 35, 40 co-workers. We're a close group, along with 120 customers at that time. And, you know, it's with cameras all over the place. So it was a bad decision these kids made.
The video shows the three men pin the server to the ground, but not for long, as several other employees come to his aid, fight off the men. Two customers also help. One puts a guy in a headlock. One of the suspects shows he has a gun. Police are called and show up outside as the three men leave.
I thank God for us and for them too, because, you know, kids make mistakes, as I have, and you know, I truly hope these guys have learned a lesson and that maybe it'll make them better people in the long run. But in the meantime, it needs to be dealt with.
And thankfully, no one was seriously injured. Richmond police did take down an assault report and are working to identify those three suspects. John Taxon says he is considering pressing charges. In the Digital Center, Heather Hope, 8 News.
Welcome back to 8 News. I'm Deanna Albritton.
I'm Eric Phillips. 8 News is honoring Black history. Tucked away 40 miles west of downtown Richmond sits a former plantation turned site for two Black Catholic boarding schools.
Now closed for more than 50 years, most of the school buildings were demolished. 8 News anchor Heather Hope shares how alumni and the Black History Museum of Virginia are working to keep the school's legacy alive.
Eric, Deanna, I have the book of one alum here. The two schools are entrenched in American history. The founders were heirs of the Drexel family fortune and older cousins of Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Their mission: to equip and uplift an overlooked community.
You could see our campus if you were coming on a boat up and down the James River. You could look up and see on the top of that hill, there's a castle. That was St. Emma.
Millionaire heiress Catherine Drexel, who was later named a saint by the Catholic Church, founded St. Emma Military Academy for Boys in 1895 Powhatan. On the same land, Catherine's sister and brother-in-law founded St. Francis de Sales School for Girls.
The camaraderie that was developed at St. Francis de Sales was like none other.
Peggy Granderson Thurston graduated from St. Francis in 1964. Robert Walker Jr. graduated St. Emma's in 1965.
Not too many people had that privilege, so I'm part of a very unique brotherhood.
Unique as the 2,000 acres were once a Confederate general slave plantation in 1845 before millionaire heiress Catherine Drexel bought the land and transformed it into two private boarding schools exclusively for Black and Native American students. At the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia, Director of Collections Mary Lauderdale added an education exhibit featuring St. Emma's and St. Francis, taking visitors back in time, like when students used to take a wooden ferry on the James River to get to class.
My understanding is the only thing they really had to import was sugar and salt.
My grandmother, and that's my aunt.
St. Francis is a big part of Mary's family history. Both her grandmother and aunt are graduates.
I found in a ledger when she arrived, that was June 30th, 1919, and the next day, an aunt of mine on my father's side of the family.
For alum Peggy Granderson Thurston, she loved the rural, isolated setting where she learned all about discipline.
You had to be responsible for everything that belonged to you.
Peggy says not only were the nuns strict, but they were key in pushing for equal rights in Central Virginia, which made their school a target for the KKK.
There was a period of time when the rioters came on campus, but the nuns stood their grounds, and then the cadets from St. Emma, they came over with their rifles and protected us.
St. Emma's remains the nation's only Black military academy.
The military training that I had there helped prepare me. And when I was in boot camp at Parris Island, I got promoted, and I was one of the very few recruits that actually marched the platoon around.
Robert chronicled his experiences in his book in 2006, The Black Military Academy on the James River. With desegregation and loss in funding, St. Francis closed in 1970. St. Emma shut down 2 years later. Both schools together educated nearly 15,000 students. The exhibit for St. Emma's and St. Francis will be up at the Black History Museum until April 29th. Alumni will give a special talk titled From Enslavement to Empowerment at the Virginia Museum of History and Culture on February 18th at noon. Heather Hope, 8 News.
An important story, well told, Heather. Thanks very much.
Yeah, and 2 events to definitely mark your calendars for there.
Storm Tracker Red anchor Heather Hope is in studio tonight with some staggering statistics about how you can keep the little ones safe while they're playing outside. And that's really a big concern, especially now.
I know, tag, I'm it. Wish it was a literal freeze tag, right? Well, as the temperatures outside tiptoe towards 100 degrees, the surfaces your kids play on are also heating up. At most parks, colorful plastic has been replaced by those metal slides some of us might remember, but even plastic can heat up to dangerous levels in this kind of heat. The latest now, as a data center could soon move near a major interchange in Henrico County. It's now up to the county's Board of Supervisors to decide whether the plan moves forward as developers and residents battle over the project's timeline. 8 News reporter Roland Wilson has this story. Thanks. Well, it's time to put that green thumb back to work. June is the last month to get a discount on plants that are native to Virginia through the Department of Forestry's Throwing Shade VA pilot program. You can see the participating locations right here on your screen. Welcome back in our Positively Richmond now. April is National Donate Life Month, and a Richmond man is back home after donating part of his liver. Christopher Woody is actually a double organ donor, something only 190 people nationwide can say in the past 30 years.